So I've been thinking about causality quite a lot recently. And I was driving home today and I was listening to my music on shuffle and I was thinking about causality. And I've kind of tried to answer the question of whether or not cause and effect is something that we have a rational basis for believing in. Just can we think of an experiment which will give us empirical evidence as to whether or not cause and effect is a correct thing to believe in? And if we can't think of such an experiment, then we need to consider kicking out cause and effect. And if we can think of an experiment, then let's run the experiment and see whether or not cause and effect is true. But then I was just trying to think about, why do I believe in cause and effect, and if I found empirical evidence that it wasn't true, can I just stop believing in it? I just thought, no, I need to believe in that. That's how I get about the world. That's how I live in the world. This belief in cause and effect, it allows me to act in the world. But that pragmatic reason doesn't seem to be enough, because if cause and effect isn't true, it means that I would be able to get around better in the world if I had a more true, more accurate way of looking at the world other than cause and effect. So the fact that I use it to get around, that's not enough. But then I thought, well, maybe there's a deeper reason that I believe in cause and effect. It kind of seems that that's not just how I get around in the world, but that's how my body works. That's how my being gets around in the world. That's how I come into existence. My brain uses cause and effect. All of my organs are using cause and effect. My whole body is working on cause and effect and using that as its modus. So I kind of thought, no, I can't throw this idea out. I am cause and effect. I am causality. And I thought that I had come to some really huge breakthrough, kind of really holding a picture of myself as being that entity which embodies cause and effect. But I very quickly became self-aware and more removed from that. And so it seemed that if I could find out that cause and effect in fact wasn't true, then I would find out that what I am, is something else. I'm not cause and effect embodied. So then I started to think, well, what could that be? Remembered that I've got this Paul Lafferty post out called The Dimensionality of Fate. What is on the level above causality on his hierarchy is synchronicity. And I also remembered that a lot of people have been talking about synchronicity and a change in consciousness coming up in the future. But synchronicity has been coming up quite a bit. And I got very excited about the thoughts that I'd been going through. And I, hurried home. I wanted to get this post done as soon as possible. And I was thinking about what I was going to say in the post, and I was kind of like rehearsing it in my head, and I was just going over all the thoughts that I'd just been having. And I was just halfway down my street where I just kind of remembered that I was driving, and suddenly I just realized that I'd been driving that whole time, and I'd just been totally off in my thoughts. Like, I just stopped thinking about all those thoughts and just realized that I was driving and that I was on the road, and I was just halfway down my street. And at the same time, the music also came back into the fore of my consciousness.
Passing through unconscious states, when I awoke, I was on the highway, 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 highway.
So I think I'm going to start looking into synchronicity.